Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Munce Report as we preview this weekend's racing action and catch up on some of the latest stable news with trainer Chris Munce. Welcome, mate. A bit of a quieter week on the racing front, I guess, this week with some of the bigger races done and dusted. But you've still got a black type runner at Doomben on Saturday with Kefalonia in the Phoenix, which is a listed race for 2-year-olds over the mile.
Yeah, he goes around there, Adam. He raced very, very well first up in a maiden at Doomben, albeit over 13.50, but he's certainly come on leaps and bounds since then, and he's a big, strong, strapping horse, and really, I think the mile will suit him down to the ground, and it's be interesting to see how he aims up in what I don't think it doesn't look to be a very strong race for a stakes race.
Yeah, okay. We'll get into get stuck right into the preview in a little bit, but there's also a bit of stable news around. And while some of the big races are over, there's a couple of big names that stepped out at the Doomben Barrier Trials this week, headed by the likes of Munce, Scathing after a freshen up, and also Skate to Paris. You must have been happy with the way they trialled, and what have you got in mind for them in the coming weeks?
Yeah, I thought the three of them trialled really well. In particular, Munce, I thought his trial was very good off a long break. Skate to Paris had a second hit out today, and I thought she improved again into today very, very nicely. Probably still trialled as if she needs another good gallop under her belt, but I was happy with the performance. And Scathing, I was really happy with him. He goes to the 13.50 3-year-old race on Saturday week before going to the Winx Guineas at Caloundra. So I thought the three of them all performed very, very well.
And have you mapped out preparations yet for Munce as far as where you might head with him?
He'll probably trial and will jump out again in a fortnight. And after that, depending on how he goes, we probably look to taking a Grafton for the Ramornie. It's worth good money, 200,000, 1,200 metres first up's ideal, I think. And I would think at this time of year, probably is as good a race as any to kick him off in.
Very good. Any other trial performances that caught your eye? I see Lady Bramos, albeit a maiden trial, but she was a big winner of a maiden trial.
Yeah, I thought it was good to see her win and actually get a bit of confidence under her belt now. She's been a filly that's promised a lot, but I just think lacked a bit of maturity and lacked a bit of confidence. So today we wanted to make sure that she got that and had a good experience in doing so. So she trialled very well. I thought Smooth Move. I thought he aimed up very, very well and trialled nicely. But there was a couple of youngsters there that I thought, maideners and 2-year-olds, I thought trialled very good. A horse called Lucky Time. I thought she was quite a nice trial for Hancock's and for Shelley Hancock's indications. And I thought Triptonic, a 2-year-old of BK Racing's, he's been a more than ready gelding that's just taken a while to hit his straps. But I thought today's performance in a trial was very encouraging.
Okay, yeah, it was a busy morning at the trials. And speaking of babies, you also had a few babies enter the stable this week. And I guess it's that time of year where you're getting to see the progress that some of them have made from the sales heading into, being broken in and now coming to the stable for these education preps.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, this is an exciting time of the year with these youngsters when they're coming in and out. You see them improve and you see them change and develop and evolve. And that's what makes us getting out of bed every morning, makes our job a little bit easier when we see the youngsters improve and develop and get stronger and faster.
Any of them in particular sort of impressed you, the way that they've, transformed from the stables, or?
Well, no, I haven't really screwed them down as such just yet. So they've all really handled their workload quite nicely, a lot of them. I mean, I haven't put them under a lot of pressure, but as far as education goes, they're pretty forward. And I'll have a couple of them, or 4 of them will have a little jump out tomorrow morning. And then we'll decide from there whether they go back to the paddock or whether we need to do another week's worth of education with them.
Very good, mate. Well, let's get into the preview and talk about what's happening on the racing front. As we mentioned, Kefalonia, who's a 2-year-old sizzling gelding, lines up in the Phoenix. He's drawn nicely in Barrier 3 for Justin Huxtable. And as you mentioned, was a very tough sort of third on debut. Has he progressed along since that performance?
Yeah, he sure has, Adam. Like he's since that first up run, he really has improved nicely. And I thought his first up run was great to be only narrowly beaten at the margin that he was. He looked like he was going to struggle a bit on the corner, but once he really rallied and under hard pressure, he fought tenaciously. So I think it's a nice race for him. It's not a very strong stakes race at all. So it could be just a nice race for him to pick off.
Of course, familiar colours for yourself, obviously being a progeny of Sizzling, who you rode yourself, and obviously wearing the cerise with the black striped sleeves for David Devine and Neville Morgan. So, as we mentioned, some of the big races are done and dusted, but that's the big one on Saturday at Doomben. The other runner on the Doomben program is Centrefire, who's drawn barrier 2 for Sean Cormick in the cutest 3-year-old fillies handicap. She's second up. What did you make of her first up, 5th at Doomben?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. They went very fast, and probably she knocked up late, I would say, in a fast, high pressure race, which probably took a toll. So I think second up now, she's a lot fitter, and she should get the nice run from a good draw. I did accept with her at Caloundra as well, but probably looking at the weather pattern and her barrier at Caloundra, I probably prefer to run her in town, where she's going to get a nice run and be given every chance to run as well as she can.
Okay. And then on Monday, Tam Din heads out to Kilcoy for a 2-year-old maiden plate. She's a 2-year-old filly by Better Than Ready, who's had a bit of time between runs after finishing 8th on debut.
Yeah, well, she struck a heavy track that day and drew poorly, and it took a little bit out of her that run. So we just had to back off her and get her right again. But she's actually quite a good galloper, this filly, and it'd be nice to get her on top of the ground, and she has got the good draw on Monday. So obviously Kilcoy's the big question mark, but if she gets around that track well enough, she's in the right sort of race to be competitive in.
And I think that the winner of that race, there's a bit of form out of that race, albeit it was a maiden, that Sunshine Coast race.
Yeah, sure. And, I certainly, leading up to that race, her work and her trials have been very good. So I just put it down to the heavy track and the bad draw, which brought about her undoing first up.
All right, mate. Well, fingers crossed for the runners and yourself over the weekend, and good luck to Connections also.
Good on you, Adam. Thanks, mate.